Hey friends, I just wanted to clear up a common misconception with this video. I get asked pretty frequently, and I've seen it many times in the comment sections on other plumbing videos online, about pricing of products that we as plumbers are able to get compared to pricing that the average homeowner would get if they were purchasing a product. I'll often get asked in regards to toilets, faucets, water heaters, things of that nature, if I get better pricing. And I've seen it in many comments where sometimes people will be almost rude about it and say, yeah, the plumber's charging this much and he's not even paying full price for the product. So I'm not really trying to get into pricing of service. Some people think plumbers are too expensive. Some probably are, but that's kind of beside the point of this video. This is strictly addressing the cost that we pay for products. So I can't really speak for large national companies. They may have better buying power and be able to really get things at a lower price. But for me personally, and I'm pretty sure for the average plumbing company in most areas, I've built up a company almost from scratch. It was a one-person company, and then I joined, became two-person, then we got to a mid-sized company. It was the same for them, and it's the same for me now as a one-person operation. I'm not getting better pricing. When I go to supply houses, I actually typically spend more money on my faucets, water heaters, toilets, things of that nature than I would if I actually went to a big box store like Home Depot or Lowe's. The difference is, and the reason that I am okay spending more at the wholesale places is, one, I'm getting a much better quality product. There is definitely a quality difference in many of these products that we're discussing. Big box stores typically tell the manufacturers, hey, we want to sell your product, but we want to sell it at this price point. Do what you got to do to bring it down there. Usually, I don't necessarily want to say that corners get cut, but there might be more plastic components or a cheaper grade quality component here or there. You might have on a water heater a thinner anode rod that the water heater's not going to be lasting as long, things of that nature. So you get better quality from at least the specific products I choose to purchase are going to be better quality at the supply house. Number two reason is, even if it's going to be the same quality in some instances, the service that I get from the supplier, and not just the friendliness of the supplier, but actual service that can then get translated to the customer, is night and day better. For instance, if I were to get a retail Moen faucet and install it for a customer, realistically, quality is pretty comparable. It is going to be lower quality than the wholesale. It's going to have a lot more plastic components. It's made overseas, and some people have different opinions on that. But the wholesale quality is going to be more brass components. They're made in America, at least with Moen. I'm not sure about all the different manufacturers. So there is a quality difference there. Realistically, even the plastic retail versions, they're pretty good quality. I'm not gonna say anything negative about them. But when it comes to the service, night and day difference. So if you get retail, we'll just use that as an example, the Moen one. If you get retail Moen, now Moen is a great company. They've got a fantastic customer service, whether it's retail or wholesale, but there's still a difference. With retail, say you have a faucet that 15 years later it's leaking internally, it needs to be replaced. Well, if you contact Moen, they're going to be willing to send you a new faucet under warranty, in my experience. However, you're going to be a little bit stuck at what they're going to deem is the next closest thing. So if they don't have your exact faucet anymore, they're going to choose what they think is most closest, and yeah, you take it or leave it. With the wholesale grade, I get to work with the manufacturer reps. And I actually had one situation where my customer had a wholesale Moen faucet. It was the same thing. It was leaking internally. It had to be replaced. Their faucet was an older product. It was a pewter finish, which, at least at the time, I'm not aware that they are now either, Moen was no longer manufacturing. When we contacted tech support, they offered them a standard run-of-the-mill chrome product. My customer really wasn't satisfied with that, to the point where they were going to just buy their own faucet outright. They were just looking at any manufacturer at that point. They just really didn't feel like the chrome was going to be the right match for them. Well, because it was a wholesale product, I reached out to my rep. Man, my rep was just phenomenal. Long story short, they got a $600 faucet completely free of charge. It was a much higher upgrade from what they had, but it's what was the better match for the home, since Moen no longer made that same product. So that's just an example of the kind of service that we can get when their problems arise with wholesale versus retail, and why I like to purchase wholesale. you know, if you don't need it as a customer, if you don't ever have the problems, then, I mean, okay, I guess that's a potential benefit you didn't end up using. But man, if you do have issues down the road, I'm proud to be able to stand behind the product for long term, because I know that I'm going to be backed by a great manufacturer as well. So that's why I spend more. Now, that isn't to say that every item I purchase is going to be more expensive at wholesale. Kind of like if you're doing your grocery shopping. I mean, maybe some of us will just go to whatever store is most convenient, and that's that. But others of us, I know my wife is one, when you do grocery shopping, you're really going to be thinking, what am I purchasing? Where's going to be the best place to buy it? Sometimes we'll go to Publix if things are going to be on BOGO. Otherwise, she usually opts to go to Kroger because she gets a little bit of a better price. That's going to be the case with many of your smaller items, fittings and things like that. Usually that's a negligible difference, to the point where I'm not really going to make my purchasing decision on the cost of the price. Typically in those instances, I'm going wherever it's most convenient. If I'm on a job and I need to get a random product or random fitting, if I'm closest to Home Depot and they've got something that's the same quality, sure, I'll just stop there. If I'm closer to my supplier, I'll stop there. If it's after hours, I've finished up everything, I've got a bunch of items to restock, I might contact my local supplier. If I feel I'm going to get it quicker by using, there's a couple of online supply houses that anyone can use, it's not just plumbers. Or even sometimes Amazon is going to have quick delivery of a comparable or exact same quality product for a fine price. All of this is going to be negligible. I'm talking within like a few dollars to even tens of cents in some cases on product by product basis. Certainly not to the point where the average customer is going to go, oh, I'm so glad that we bought it through you because you saved us 15 cents on this. There's only one item I can actually think of off the top of my head that really is a pretty significant difference percentage-wise in cost, where I do feel like I get better pricing. But again, anyone can go to the plumbing supply houses, at least in my area, so it's not just me. And that would be tubular drainage fittings and traps. The average 1.5-inch tubular drainage trap at Home Depot, I want to say, is like $5 and change. And the ones I usually get, which are just as good, arguably better quality, are under $2, just because of where I purchased them from. That to me is the only time when I'm at Home Depot and I got to pick something for a job that I'm on right now, I had to swing by, then I'll kind of be like, man, I know I could have saved some money on this. But realistically, even then, like, we're talking a few dollars. I mean, something like that kind of job, I'm typically just throwing it in, covering it under my service fee anyway. Or if I'm doing something else while I'm there, I might not even charge you anything for it, because, okay, if I went to Home Depot and I got the most expensive one, it's $5. I've got enough profit in jobs to cover a $5 gift to you. No big deal. So anyway, I get that from time to time from customers who are just genuinely asking and are curious, do you get better pricing? If by better pricing you mean a fair price for a great quality product, yeah, I do. If by better pricing you mean, and I think most of these customers usually do you get a lower cost for same item? Nah, not really. I mean, for some of these smaller things, sure, but that's because I know where to purchase, just like someone doing grocery shopping might choose between Kroger, Publix, Walmart, maybe you got a Super Target, I don't know. But no, in general, at least in my experience, no, we don't get lower pricing. I saw a comment earlier this morning on another plumber's video saying how plumbers only pay for a portion of the cost of the actual item. No, we don't. We pay full price. So anyway, just wanted to clear that up. You all have a great day.